Well, hello, this is Pam Bird bringing to you a bird's eye view with another entry into the series Love Knows Boundaries. Wouldn't it be awesome to live in a no drama zone? Well, have you considered what it would be like if you could set healthy boundaries all the time so that you would never ever have to deal with drama again? Well, as a boundaries coach, I work with a lot of people in helping them to eliminate drama, help to eliminate the drama factor in their lives. And I do that by helping them to set healthy boundaries. So here's what happens. Many people are kind of apprehensive about setting boundaries because they get uncomfortable believing that there's something that they're going to have to do that they don't want to do, and they're going to have to confront someone. Well, really, when you think about confronting, it's all about communication. What I want to help you to do is get to the core of the drama or the core of the chaos by setting healthy boundaries right there at the core. So when you think about situations that you're dealing with and people that may draw you into their drama, I want you to start to become aware of what are the triggers that are causing you to be upset or to feel out of control when this occurs, either with people or in situations. There is a model of dysfunctional behavior that I use as a foundation for my coaching practice, and it's called the drama triangle. This drama triangle dysfunctional model of behavior was created by Dr. Stephen Cartman back in the late 60s. And within this triangle lies the positions of individuals that will try to pull you into their drama or into their chaos. And this is dysfunctional behavior. And so when I help people to understand that, they gain a better awareness of the triggers that are causing them to be sucked in to this cycle of drama. And so I want to talk to you about today about setting core boundaries or setting boundaries at the core so that the boundaries that you need to set on a daily basis are not necessary because you've already identified them and set them at the core. So I want to start by giving you a couple examples. The first example I want to give you is of a core issue you may have with, let me give you an example. You may have a clogged drain, right? So you have a clogged drain and you've tried everything you can to unclog this drain. It could be in your sink, it could be in your commode, your toilet. And so you've used a plunger to see if it works, but it doesn't work. You've tried Drano, nothing seems to work. That darn clog just keeps coming back, overflowing. And so your recourse is to contact a plumber. So the plumber comes in. Do you think that plumber is going to do the exact same thing you did? No, because you've already tried that and that doesn't work. What the plumber is going to do is he's going to go down to the core of the issue. He wants to identify the problem so he can unclog the drain. So there's probably something stuck in there. There's something that's stopping the flow. And so what's going to happen is if you don't get him or her to come in and address the problem at the core, you're going to continue to have the same problem. So when the exterminator comes in, he's going to dig down to the core and he's going to eliminate your problem. Also, let me give you an example of there's drugs running rampant in your community because there is a drug dealer that's affecting everybody in your community, even affecting your children. And so that drug dealer may get arrested, but how many times does that drug dealer have to get arrested before he comes right back? And he's going to continue to wreak havoc in your neighborhood and in your community. The only way to get result from this drug dealer and the damage that he's causing is to get to the drug lord, the kingpin. That's getting at the core of the problem. And so most chances are that's not something that you can do on your own. You got to call in reinforcement, right? And so that's another example. I wanted you to think about how someone coming in to help you to get to the core of the problem in order to eliminate it. And so when you think about those two examples, I want you to realize that these are things that you haven't done on your own. You've had to call in reinforcement. But when you called in that reinforcement, you realized that the things that you were doing weren't working and you got to get somebody else in there. And so both of these examples help you to understand that sometimes when we've got issues that we continue to deal with, like a cycle going over and over again, we got to consider we need to step back and bring in reinforcement. And so when you think about the issues that you may deal with on the surface, it's not until you're able to get to the core of that chaos or that trauma that you realize that that's the only way you're going to eliminate that problem. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, we understand that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil and rulers of this dark earth. And so when we can identify those principalities that are coming against us, we then realize that the people or the situations we're dealing with are not necessarily our problem. A lot of times it's the enemy trying to use our past hurts and our past experience against us, because we've experienced painful wounds that could be opened every time that situation or that person begins to pull us into their drama, and we begin to experience what we call the spirit of offense. That spirit of offense is what the enemy uses against us, like our Achilles heel, or that weakness that he keeps coming against us with. So it's not until we begin to identify what that weakness is that the enemy tries to use against us that we can begin to open up our minds and our hearts to get clear on asking God to help us to eliminate that problem or that pain so that we can begin to respond appropriately. When you think about the emotions that stir up when someone tries to trigger a pain in you that opens up a wound, then you when you start to look at where that's coming from, who's trying to put that on you, and get clear on what that is, that's when you can begin to go to God and say, God, please bring me clarity and help me, show me how to deal with the situation at the core. That way, once you deal with it at the core, you don't have to deal with it up at the surface any longer. And a lot of times when you get down to the core, you begin to set healthy internal boundaries so that you are more aware and more better positioned to set the boundaries up front. And you won't have to do it as often because you've developed internal boundaries and you've identified who is at the core of that chaos. And it's usually the enemy trying to use something against you to stop you from moving in the direction that God needs you to move in. So stop letting him stop you from moving forward and doing all that you need to do, impacting the lives of the people that you need to impact to be all God needs you to be. So set those boundaries at the core. And if this is something that you said, you know what, I tried to do it on my own and I keep getting the same results, then that's what I'm here for. As a boundaries coach, I help you to excavate, to get down to the core of your chaos and your drama, to identify the culprit so that you can begin to heal those wounds that people try to reopen so they can't be open again. This is Pam Bird bringing to you a bird's eye view. For more information, feel free to reach out to me at info at PamelaBird.com. And let's schedule a complimentary session where I can help you to unravel the core of your chaos so that you can begin setting healthy internal boundaries. This is Love Knows Boundaries. Love definitely needs boundaries. And until next time, take care.